Hello students, I welcome you all in today's class. Under the heading Rotational Dynamics, today we are going to study kinematics of circular motion. What is kinematics? Kinematics is the branch of mechanics in which the study of moving objects or particles is done. Under this branch, we do not consider the cause of the motion. The circular motion, as you know, is the motion of the particle along the circumference of a circle. The circular motion is an accelerated motion. If it is uniform circular motion or even if it is non-uniform circular motion, then also there is acceleration produced. In order to understand this point, I have this instrument. Now, this is the axis of rotation and this clip or this point is performing circular motion about this axis. Suppose this particle or the clip is rotating in this manner, in clockwise direction like this. Then this is the center of the circle, this is the position of the particle, and the vector joining the center of the circle to the position of the particle. This vector is known as the radius vector. In this instrument, this handle now is showing the radius vector. As the particle rotates, this radius vector moves through some angle. This arrow is perpendicular to this radius vector. So when the body or the object rotates like this, then this vector will be tangential to the circle at that point. Hence, as the body rotates in this manner, in clockwise direction, then this white arrow will show the direction of the linear velocity. And as you are observing here, the direction of the linear velocity is changing from time to time. Therefore, there is acceleration produced in circular motion. On the other hand, if the body is moving in anti-clockwise direction like this, then this blue arrow is pointing in the direction of linear velocity like this, and this blue arrow is also changing the direction from time to time. As linear velocity is a vector quantity, the change in direction or the change in magnitude or change in both of them will result into the acceleration. Therefore, circular motion is an accelerated motion, and there is centripetal acceleration in case of circular motion. Now, angular displacement. Suppose the particle is performing circular motion in this manner. The particle, when it changes its position from A to B, angular displacement is produced. Consider object. Consider an object, and I am lifting this object in this manner. This is the initial position of the object, and now the object is performing the circular motion about an axis passing through this point. This is the center of the circle, this is the position of the particle, and the vector joining the center to the position of the particle is a radius vector. As the particle moves, the radius vector describes certain angle theta as shown in the figure. So this theta is known as angular displacement. If the angular displacement is finite, then it does not obey commutative law and associative law of vector addition. Therefore, finite angular displacement is not a true vector. But if the time interval is very small, means delta t tends to 0, then this angular displacement will be very small. And under that situation, the angular displacement is shown by delta theta. And this small angular displacement delta theta is a true vector. What is the reason? Because this angular displacement delta theta now obeys the commutative law and associative law of vector addition. The unit for this theta is radian. Now these are the kinematical equations we use for calculating the different physical quantities such as omega, theta, alpha, etc. Now about the angular velocity. Similar to the linear velocity, angular velocity is the rate of change of angular displacement. The instantaneous angular velocity will be equal to limit delta t tends to 0 delta theta upon delta t. As delta theta is a vector quantity, delta t is a scalar quantity, the direction of omega will be the same as direction of delta theta. Further, omega can be shown as equal to d theta upon dt. Consider the second hand of the clock. The second hand, when it performs one complete rotation, the angle traced by that second hand is 2 pi radians. And for one revolution of the second hand, time required is 60 seconds. Therefore, when we have to calculate the angular velocity of second hand, we get the distance, the angular displacement upon time required, that is 2 pi upon omega, that is equal to further pi upon 30, and it comes out to be 0.03 radian per second. So this is the angular velocity of the second hand. The direction of omega is always perpendicular to the plane of circle in which the object is rotating. So suppose this is the axis of rotation and particle is performing circular motion in this manner or in the opposite sides also, then the direction of omega is shown by, it is along the axis of rotation. It is either outwards or inwards. This direction of angular velocity will be again further determined by right hand rule. Now the angular acceleration. Angular acceleration is defined as rate of change of angular velocity. Alpha is equal to d omega upon dt. Now d omega is a vector quantity and dt is a scalar quantity. So the direction of alpha will be determined by this quantity d omega. It is further equal to omega 2 minus omega 1 upon t. Omega 1 is the initial angular velocity of the particle, omega 2 is the final angular velocity of the particle, and t is the time interval in which the angular velocity changes from omega 1 to omega 2. Then by using the another symbols, we can show that alpha is equal to omega minus omega 0 upon t. In this equation, omega 0 is the initial angular velocity, omega is the final angular velocity, and t is the time interval in which the angular velocity changes by from omega 0 to omega. The direction of this alpha will be along the direction of omega if omega is increasing. Here, suppose omega 2 is greater, means the final velocity is greater than initial velocity omega 1. Then this numerator will be a positive quantity. This positive quantity divided by time will again result into positive quantity. In this case, the direction of alpha will be the same as direction of omega. But if omega 2 is less than omega 1, then this subtraction will be a negative quantity. The negative quantity divided by time will result in negative quantity. The negative sign here denotes that the direction of alpha is opposite to direction of omega. Hence, in that case, alpha and omega will be opposite to each other. The unit of angular acceleration is radian per second square. The right hand rule is used to determine the direction of angular displacement or the angular velocity. So what is this rule? According to this rule, we have to use our right hand. If this is the axis of rotation, then we have to hold the axis of rotation in our right hand with our fingers curled around the axis of rotation and the thumb outstretched like this. Suppose the particle is performing circular motion in anti-clockwise direction like this. This is the beginning of my fingers and the fingers are curled in the sense of rotation in this manner. Then the outstretched thumb will show the direction of the angular velocity. Here the direction of angular velocity is towards u when the particle is moving in anti-clockwise sense. On the other hand, if the particle is moving in clockwise direction, then I will have to hold the axis of rotation in this manner. Now again, these curled fingers, they are showing the direction of rotation of the particle, and the thumb, it is stretched along the axis of rotation in this manner and it is pointing in inward direction, which is the direction of omega. So direction of omega is perpendicular to the plane of the circle. It is either inwards or outwards depending on whether the particle is moving in clockwise or anti-clockwise sense. So I think all the things are clear to you. If any doubt, you can contact me. So thank you.